My girlfriend's brother tested if I could afford a wedding ring, not knowing I could afford his entire country club. I'd been dating Isabella for 4 months when she finally invited me to meet her older brother Trevor at his country club, and I knew that without his blessing, we would never get married. Just warning you, she said, fixing my collar in the parking lot. He's been my protector since our parents died, so he might be a little rough with you, but it's only because he cares. I nodded, my chest tight with nerves. But here's what they didn't know. I owned a private jet company. I'd learned the hard way that money changes how people see you, so I kept my mouth shut and dressed casually on purpose. I wanted Trevor to see the real me first. Trevor was waiting at the clubhouse entrance when we walked in, and the way he looked me up and down told me everything. He'd already decided I wasn't good enough. Nice shoes, he said with a smirk. What outlet did those come from? I just smiled and shook his hand. I told myself to stay calm. He didn't know who he was really talking to, and I wanted to keep it that way, at least for now. We sat down for lunch, and that's when the real test began. Trevor ordered the most expensive appetizers on the menu without even looking at me. Wagyu sliders, lobster bites, truffle fries, a bottle of champagne. When the check came, he slid it right in front of me with this smile that told me he thought he was humiliating me. You got this one right, champ? I pulled out my card, doing my best not to roll my eyes. Isabella squeezed my hand 3 times under the table, our signal for asking each other if we were okay. I squeezed back once, our signal for yes. She nodded, but didn't look convinced. After lunch, we headed to the driving range, and Trevor walked behind me the whole way. Suddenly, he squeezed my shoulder hard enough to hurt. Wow, he said, loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Pretty narrow frame you got there. Do you even lift, bro? I just sat there and took it because being part of Isabella's family was more important to me than winning some dumb argument with her brother. When it was time to purchase the golf balls, Trevor pulled out his wallet and made a big show of flashing his black American Express card. What color is yours? He asked, grinning like he already knew the answer. I just shrugged casually. Green. He burst out laughing like that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Things escalated at the clubhouse bar. Trevor ordered a round for everyone and tipped the bartender $500 cash. Then he turned to stare directly at my face, waiting for a reaction. I kept my expression completely blank. You look cold, he said suddenly. I can lend you a proper blazer if you want. That thing you're wearing looks like it came from a donation bin. Before I could even respond, he grabbed my arm and dragged me toward a group of his friends at a nearby table. Hey boys, quick arm wrestle. Let's see what my sister's new boyfriend is actually made of. I could have easily won the arm wrestle against him because I train MMA in my free time, but I didn't want to make things worse. So I lost on purpose, and when I did, Trevor howled with laughter and slapped the table. He roared, "Buddy, seriously, how are you gonna protect my sister when you can't even beat me?" Even Isabella couldn't take it anymore. She finally spoke up. Trevor, please stop. This isn't funny anymore. But Trevor completely ignored her. He leaned in close to me, lowering his voice like he was sharing a secret. You know Isabella's trust fund is worth 8 figures, right? Does that intimidate you? Because it should. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. I wanted to tell him everything right then and there. Then Trevor did something I'll never forget. He calmly pulled out a leather checkbook, wrote something down, and slid it across the table toward me. The check was blank except for his signature. He asked, "How much money will it take for you to walk away from my sister and never see her again?" "Like $300? Name your price." I stared at that blank check. My hands were literally shaking with anger. But before I could say a single word, my phone started ringing. Trevor snatched it off the table and answered on speaker before I could stop him. He was smirking, probably expecting it to be a delivery app or a bill collector. Instead, a panicked voice filled the silent bar. "Sir, we have a serious situation. The Gulfstream client is absolutely furious. We accidentally gave his usual jet to another CEO, and now he's threatening to pull his entire account with us." Everyone at the table froze. I calmly took the phone from Trevor's hand and responded, "If he doesn't want it, tell him he's welcome to find another aviation company." I hung up and watched as Trevor realized he had underestimated me and my career path. His face cycled through every emotion possible. First confusion, then disbelief, then pure horror as every single insult he'd thrown at me came flooding back through his mind all at once. "Aviation," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "But that's... you can't be." His whole body seemed to shrink. His voice cracked completely. He continued, "I was just protecting her. You understand that, right? After what happened with David, I had to test you. I had to make sure." I just stood up slowly, took Isabella's hand in mine, and walked straight out the door without looking back.